Greetings and welcome to the Contracting Guy. I am the Contracting Guy, and today I want to talk about the record. Well, first off, wait a second. Nice cup of coffee. I love the mug. So let's talk about the record. GAO talks about it quite a bit when they refer to the record being silent. Now, the record is the documentation that supports a decision or an action. So if the record is silent, that would mean there's nothing in the document or documents that suggest what you did and how you came to that conclusion. Now, that's kind of important. Every once in a while, we will get into this mode of, let's just trust them. We can trust them. Yeah, they're trustworthy, aren't they? Let's trust them. So we don't pay attention to documenting. And yet, as all government people should know, you document. And when you're not documenting, you're documenting that you didn't document. We're always documenting. You document the file. Failing to document is a reflection on your attention to detail and your professional work. You need to document. Now, that holds true whether you're a government buyer or a civilian commercial buyer. If you're doing work and you're relying on other people's words, then you need to document that. There's a sense that oftentimes with people is that, well, I don't want to ask them to put it in writing because that means I don't trust them. Well, and then suddenly they do something that is untrustworthy. And you're going, oh man, I should have wrote that down. Now I have no leg to stand on. The documentation that you do is to support really not whether it comes out well or not. It's more like if it goes ugly, you need to have the documentation. So you enter into a purchase and you have a document that says this is the way it's supposed to be. If it doesn't come out that way, then you have something to look to. A prenuptial agreement, I'll call that a sort of a documentation for weddings and such, is the documentation that said, if things go ugly, this is what happens. Well, we don't want to say that it's going to go ugly. This is, it's just bad karma. I said, the reality is that if you don't address it, if it does occur, and there's always the likelihood it could occur, then you're going to get screwed. Somebody's going to benefit. Recently, my wife bought a radio for a car from a Toyota dealership. Now, Toyotas generally don't sell radios, but they were selling an aftermarket radio. And in this particular dealership, they said, hey, we can solve your problem. We got this radio right here that you could buy. So my wife, want to point out that she didn't consult with me. She bought the radio and had them install it. And you find out that the features that go into a Highlander, like answering your phone while you're driving because you could press something on the steering wheel or other things, weren't working. So she takes it back and they said, we'll fix it. And it doesn't get fixed. And she points this out again. And after a while, the Toyota dealership was treating her as a jilted lover. So yeah, I'm not going to answer the phone anymore. I'm not going to call. You're not even going to get a Christmas card from us. And as a result of that, she's ticked. And she shares that with me. Now I'm like, wonder what you could have done about that. Maybe some documentation would be helpful. You paying the price for not documenting. The record is silent. Oh, well, what are you going to do? So in this case here, right now, we're pursuing other avenues because I'm helping her now, because that's the cleanup crew, helping her out. And then this will give us an opportunity to jump into the next thing, whatever that might be. But the key thing for you is this. Here's the takeaway for you. Document the file on what you're going to do, what you expect. Better yet, as you document, is that they document into the system that they're using and then print it out for you, what they're doing, why they're doing it, so that you have a record of what's in their system about what you need. In this case here, upon reflection, is that whenever she went into the service area of the dealership, they didn't put it in the computer. They did have no record of her complaining. So there's no sense of follow-on of what's happening. It ends up being her word against theirs. They said, it works. And she goes, no, it doesn't. And in spite of the fact that it still doesn't get the AM channels and it still doesn't, you can't answer your phone on the steering wheel, you know, they're standing fast and saying, well, geez, sucks to be you. That's a technical term. You can use that. So key thing, takeaway, small businesses, get it in writing. Document it for yourself. If the government or whomever you're doing business with does not document it, you write it down and submit it to them saying, hey, this is what documentation of our interaction, and leave it up to them to refute it or not. Failure to refute, you know, it ends up being is that you notify them, it's part of the record. Which leads me to the one final thing in the record. Always, always, always put these things on letterhead. Don't use an email. Emails are good to transmit, but they're not necessarily good for documentation. Reason is that every email looks alike. They all look alike. But a letterhead has your unique letterhead to it, and that can be added to the file in a unique way. Do it that way. Always use letterhead in doing that. So first, document the file, inform whomever that you're documenting it by providing them a copy, and on the bottom of your paper, you say, hey, you're getting a copy of this too, and then put it on letterhead. It's kind of like a cherry on top of a nice sundae. It's pretty tasty. So take that away. This is the Contracting Guy. I'm out. Boom. Contracting Guy here. Thank you for watching the video, and thank you for being part of the Contracting Guy family. If you would, support the channel by like, subscribe, and share with others. That would be wonderful. This is the Contracting Guy. I'm out.